For those who don't know, my name is Sarah Hennon, and if you look at my feed at all, or if you follow me, or if you're a really close friend to me, you know that I am an advocate for sexual assault. There are a few things that I am making this video about. I'm making it about my story. I want to share my experience, mainly so I can help others and help educate others, because I feel like sexual assault, there's many categories and forms: sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape. We're gonna go over those today. I do want to say that I don't want this video to be edited. I don't want it to be cut. I want it to be all natural, because this is me telling my story, and I just want to be able to help inform others and help others, because I know for me it wasn't hard to speak up. It was hard. It took me 2 months before I even realized what happened to me. And I've met a lot of other women who say that they don't want to speak up about it, due to the fact they don't want their parents to know. They don't want their friends to know. They don't want to be known as that person. And I get it. I get it. So I am going to be on my phone. I was going to be on my laptop, but I'm blind. So I'm going to be on my phone, reading a few notes that I have. I have a lot of definitions that I would like to go over, and I have like a couple quotes that I have from my Instagram that I found, that I would just like to share with you guys, because I feel like I'm going to reach a few people that need to hear this, that want to hear this. So, yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. So before I share my story, I'm gonna go over the definitions. So we have sexual harassment: unwelcome sexual behavior or request for sexual favors that make a person feel uncomfortable. Sexual harassment can be verbal, physical, or visual. Sexual assault is sexual contact or behavior that occurs without the consent of the victim. This can include fondling, touching, penetration, or forcing the victim to perform sexual acts. Rape is penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or anus with any body part or object, or oral penetration by a sex organ of another person without the consent of the victim. I have one last definition that I want to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand this. Coercion is the act or process of persuading someone forcefully to do something that they do not want to do. So now that I've gone over the definitions, I'm going to share my story with you guys. So for those who don't know, and if you do know, I'm not saying names for legal purposes, for protective me. But like I said, if you do know, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. So I used to attend the University of Memphis, and there is a fraternity that's on campus that I used to be really good friends with, or so I thought before everything happened. And it was great. I mean, we were friends. I felt like I belonged somewhere. I felt like, what could go wrong, you know? And then one day it all did. One day it all went wrong. So it was the night of my birthday party. I had just turned 19 the day before. So my birthday was on a Thursday, and we decided that we were going to have a party on the 9th. So, like on that Friday. So I went to this party. I invited, clearly the fraternity guys were going to go to this party, and I didn't see an issue with it. I mean, it was held at one of their brother's house. So it was not like an issue. for them to go. I liked all of them. I didn't have an issue with anybody until the night went on. So night goes on. It's a party. You can assume what goes on at a party. I'm not going to get on here and talk about it. And so one of the fraternity guys that I had, hung out with previously a couple times was there. And he was kind of like not all over me in a bad way, but we didn't really talk outside of us hanging out. Once again, kind of get where I'm going with that. We weren't really friends. Like, we did not hang out, talk, like, anything like that. And that night he was kind of talking to me a lot, and I was just kind of like, okay, like, something's up, because we don't talk like this, not out in public. Like, what are you doing? And so as the night went on, I told everybody that I could not drive home, that I did not feel comfortable driving home, that there was no way. Like, I didn't want to do it. And I used to live 30 minutes away, and I would drive home. But then I moved, and I only lived 9 minutes away, and that spiked a lot of red flags for my very close friends that were there, and should have spiked a few red flags for the fraternity, just because that they knew I always drive home. I never not drive home, and it's on video. I have video proof. I would show it, but once again, I'm not naming names. And I don't want to show pictures or anything like that. There's a video proof of me saying I'm not driving home. And me and my best friend and the fraternity brother and another fraternity brother all got in the car, and we went to go get food. When we came back, that's when I announced that I was not driving. And I'm going to start saying my abuser, because that way I'm not just constantly going back from fraternity brother, so you know who I'm talking about. That's when my abuser decided to aggressively, get the attention of another fraternity brother, and my best friend watched him do it. And he was like, yo, man, give me the keys. Like, we got to go now. Like, we got to go right now. And because he did ask to come over. And, I mean, I did not have those intentions at first. I guess I maybe kind of figured, but I was to the point where I just wanted to go to bed. And so we got the keys and went to my car, and I do not remember the car ride home. I don't even remember getting into the car. I don't remember getting into my apartment. I don't remember anything. I remember I went home and changed, and then was tired, so I got in bed to go to sleep. Then, around, I would say, 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to him on top of me. And that is a feeling that I want nobody else to feel. It's very difficult. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. I just remember seeing him on top of me, and his exact words were, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that." And I looked at him and I was like, "What'd you do?" And he was like, "I came inside of you." And I was put back for a second and I was very confused. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, you didn't have permission. You didn't get my consent. Um, I'm heavily intoxicated. And when we've discussed this before, I told you no. I told you I didn't want you to do that. So all of those things were now taken from me. He crossed a boundary. He didn't have my consent. So, yeah. So it wasn't until a few months later when I was talking with a lawyer about what happened that she told me that it was rape. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, no, like, you know, we just hooked up, you know? I didn't think anything of it. And then that's kind of when it all hit me that that's what it was. And I was talking to my mom about it, which my mom, by the way, my mom and dad have been great. They have been educating themselves on this topic for this reason. So that way they can help me in any way that they can. So I was talking to my mom about it, and I told her, I tried to walk through the party because I really wanted to remember what happened. Like I don't know. And I remember at the party that I wanted to be small. I didn't want it to go to the entire city of Memphis. I wanted it to be my close friends, maybe my close friends' friends. But the fraternity decided that they were going to post it wherever they wanted. And I told them specifically the people that I did not want to go. It was 4 people. I had no issue with explaining why. And one of the fraternity members decided to invite them anyway. So that just goes to show that they really don't care. But I remember I was with my friend and she was like, "Why is my leg wet?" And I was like, "Why is your leg wet? Like, that's not my problem." And then she said, "Your leg's wet." And I was like, "Why is my leg wet?" And the bottle that I had in my back pocket, I'll explained it to the police. It was a Mad Dog. I don't know if you know what that is. If you want to look it up, you're more than welcome to. It was a Mad Dog, and the lid screws on. Like, it's not like it's like a, so it screws on. And I had it in my back pocket because I didn't want to hold it anymore. And, in my mind, okay, I'm safe. Nobody's gonna do anything to my bottle. I know these guys. They're fine. Turns out the lid came off. And how the lid got off, I don't know, because I always put the lid back on. And I remember before I left, when I finished that bottle, I said that it tasted weird. So I do believe I was drugged, possibly that night. I do want to go on the record and say that it was none of the fraternity guys who did it. I don't believe it would have been them. I don't think they could have done it. There'd be no reason for them to. But then again, I don't know because I waited 2 months. So it's just constant questions that I'll never know. And then later in the few months, I ended up hanging out with them, and I wanted to discuss to the vice president about what happened to me. I wanted to talk about, what happened. And I spoke to a few people before I went to the vice president. I spoke to one of my closest friends and I used it as a scenario, and I was like, "Hey," because I was ashamed. I didn't want them to look at me that way. I didn't want to be known as that person, you know? And I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, like, my friend um was assaulted by another one of your members." And he asked who it was, and I said, "I can't tell you." And he's like, "Well, then I don't think it's that deep." Those were the words that he said to me, that he didn't think that it was that deep. Sorry. And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Well, I just feel as if, I mean, they left together, so they had all the intentions of what was going to happen, and there were no witnesses." And I looked at him, I was like, "You were a witness. He asked you for my keys. Like, how, what do you mean?" And so then he told me to speak to the vice president, in which I did. And he did not take me very seriously either. I sat there and I cried to him about how I woke up with this member on top of me and I don't remember any of it. And there was another member there, and he was like, "Look, like, we're not gonna blacklist you. Um, I mean, like, we only blacklist fake rape allegations. This is clearly a serious matter. And I think that you should take it to the police." And they both agreed, the vice president and this other said member, not the one that told me it was that deep. This is another member. And everything was fine. And I went back to the fraternity house after getting that out of the way, because I told them, kind of what I wanted to do, kind of how I was going to go about it. I didn't know yet, so I wanted to keep it very quiet, since I didn't know how I was going to handle the situation. And I go back over to the house, and my abuser is on the front porch, groping another drunk girl. She could not keep her head up. She was barely standing. And so I call her friend in, and me and the girl's friend were not close. We did not like each other. And I called her in and I told her, I was like, "Hey, like, you know, this is what happened to me. I don't feel comfortable with your friend going home with him. I don't feel comfortable with your friend being there right now with him." And come to find out, as soon as I pulled the girl inside, my abuser grabbed the other girl by the arm and pulled her and said, "Let's go." And the one that I pulled inside, the girl, she has to been said that she got in the back of the car and was like, "Can you take us home?" And that is something I will always give her respect for. I will always respect her for that. I will always respect her for sticking up for her friend. So she texted me. She said that they made it home safe, and I was very glad that they did. And the vice president went up to me and said, "I think you just need to chill out." And I was like, I was taken back. I was like, "Chill out about what?" And his words, and I quote, "He may be drunk, but she's drunk too, so it's fine." Those were his words that was said to me in the fraternity house. I cursed him and I walked out. So that is kind of how I got to where I am right now. I don't think I really left anything out. My abuser's car has been vandalized a few times. Apparently it was me. Apparently he is blaming me for it. And I tried to reach out and help. Just being like, "Look, you need to get a camera. Like, if you take it to the police, they're not going to do anything because you have no evidence. So they're not going to do anything. And he was like, no, I know it was you, blah, blah, and was sending me kind of, not necessarily threats, but stating a lot of things. And the one thing that stuck out to me the most was, if she wants to play the rape card, then I was drunk too, so she raped me. Those are the words that he sent to my friend, who was supposed to have been blacklisted, who he decided to text. And that's what he said. And since I'm already 20 minutes in, I just want to let everybody on here know that this fraternity does not just have me as somebody who is speaking up against them because of rape and sexual assault and sexual harassment. There have been 6 other women that have come forward about this fraternity. And one of the girls was told that she shouldn't take it to the police because then it'll hurt the fraternity name. And the other one was not believed. And I don't want to go much into detail about their stories because they are beautiful women, and I feel like that they should have their voice and they should use it however they want, and speak up when they feel comfortable. But the things that were said to them and the things that were done to them, and it is insane to me that there have been 6 women that I know of from one fraternity. And I feel like that should be an issue. That is an issue. And if nobody else is going to sit on here and talk about it, I'm going to be the one that sits on here and talks about it. Because it's not okay. I don't believe it's okay. And it shouldn't be okay. It's morally wrong. We have a lot of ways to go in order to get to where we need to be. So that was my story. I'm going to read off some more things from my phone. And then, yeah. So some things that I came across on Instagram I feel like need to be shared because, once again, I feel like if you're not educated, you should educate yourself. This is a very big topic that's going on right now. And if this has happened to you, I want to make sure that you feel safe, that you feel like you're in a safe place. And, if you're thinking, maybe some of the things that I'm listing, you don't even know. You don't understand, because I didn't understand. I didn't get it at first. And here I am sitting in front of a camera, sharing my story to help others. So I have. It is still sexual assault, even if you gave in, you are/were in a relationship with them, you were drunk or high, you kissed them first. I feel like a lot of people don't understand the whole relationship thing. You can be assaulted if you're in a relationship. You can be assaulted if you are married. You can be assaulted by your best friend. You can be assaulted by somebody you didn't even know. There are so many things. That even if the main thing is that if you take back your consent, it stops. There should be no other questions after somebody says no. If it's not an enthusiastic yes, then it's rape. And that's what I have to say about that. Your trauma is always valid. Your trauma is not invalid. If you didn't report it to the police, you didn't come forward right away, you were not believed before, the perpetrator denies it, and you don't remember what happened. I now want to kind of get into rape apologist. This is a good one. This is a good one that I like to talk about. My foot's asleep. For those who don't know what a rape apologist is, it's when somebody goes up to you and they're like, hey, I understand that you claim that they assaulted you, but they're my friend. They're pretty cool. They wouldn't have done that. You're lying. So some of like the main forms of a rape apologist is if you find a way to blame the victim, you gaslight people about speaking up about sexual assault, you tell rape jokes, you believe asking consent is unnecessary, you side with the perpetrator, and you don't call out your friends. My main thing is that if you don't call out your friends, you know, like, I have a whole group of fraternity guys who have not won yet to stand up for me. Not one. Not for any of the 6 women. Not for me. Not for anybody. They don't think it's an issue. I feel like survivors get a lot of hate about not going to the police immediately. And here's why people don't go to the police immediately. During trauma, the brain actually shuts down. It's like the front part of your brain. That's why a lot of people, I read about the freeze method, that a lot of people, when it's happening, they just freeze. Like, they don't know what to do. That's why when people say, why didn't you fight back? A lot of women did. But a lot of other women, you shut down. You don't know what to do in that situation. They may be unsure of what it is. I was unsure of what it is. I didn't think anything about it at first until I talked to somebody about it. Fear. A lot of people get threatened or think that their abuser's gonna, come kill them or come find them or, I mean, there's definitely more. That's just kind of all I wrote about it. But like I said, a lot of people, this is don't report it immediately. A lot of people, if you're under the age of 18, the police legally have to notify your parents, I think. When you take it to court, like, you have to have a parent there. Since you're a minor. But I do know a lot of girls don't want to talk about it because they don't want their parents to know. They don't want people to look at them differently. I've actually been told by my abuser that I'm just doing it for attention, and I definitely don't want to be known as the girl that got raped. But if I'm out here helping other people, then I'm not gonna stop talking about it. And it's not for attention. It's not. Nobody wants attention on this subject. But nobody else is going to talk about it at the University of Memphis. And I will. There are a lot of girls that I know. They go to Auburn and they are having the same issue. The same one. And hopefully me and some of these girls have some things planned for Memphis. So I'm definitely going to keep everybody posted on that. But they are protesting all the time because it's not okay. Yeah. Another thing, it's their story to tell. They can tell it when they want. Believe survivors, all stages of their story. This one really stuck out to me. This is kind of like starting to get into like some quotes and stuff that I saw. This one stuck out to me the most because there are people that are going around trying to tell my story, trying to get involved in my business. And not in a positive way, in a very negative way. I had this girl that I used to be friends with who actually sided with my abuser after everything that happened. And which I have every screenshot proof that I need of everything. and she decides that she can just share it whenever she wants. The fraternity brothers, they can just share it whenever they want. And it's not okay. It's my story to tell. I'm going to tell it. Because what I'm going to do when I tell my story is I'm going to speak the truth. And I'm going to speak what happened. And I'm not going to gaslight people. And I'm not going to twist it into my own words. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie about any of it at all. I'm going to speak what happened to me. And that's that. Calling out rape culture, even if it means losing a few friends. Even if your best friend, goes off and rape people. Don't be friends with them. Stop. It's not okay. Even if they were like, oh yeah, me and this girl hooked up last night. She was hammered. That's rape. It's rape. Nobody wants to talk about it. If she is drunk, it is rape. And I don't want to sit here and say that rape is done for only women. Men can get raped too. Men can be sexually assaulted, sexually harassed. It's a thing. It is a thing. So if the victim is drunk, it is rape. If the victim is high, it is rape. If they are asleep, it's rape. It does not matter. I saw this one protest that was going on, and somebody had a sign, and it said, "If I can't say no, then I can't say yes." And that was really big for me, since in my story, a lot of things that pull towards me is the things about being drunk, having people tell your story. A lot of those pull towards me more, just because of the fact that that's what happened to me. That's what sticks with me, and it helps. I mean, just reading these things, like, oh my goodness, why did I not know this? Why did I not know this a few months ago? Being drunk is not consent. I have that. Told you guys, being drunk is not consent, at all. And sick of people acting like it is. I'm also want to talk about that. When I shared my story with somebody, an adult figure, who's not in our lives anymore, he didn't pass. A lot happened, and if you'll know who I'm talking about if you're close to me, but he actually told me that, hey, isn't sexual assault just like a part of college experience? No, it's not. It shouldn't be a part of college experience. It shouldn't be. And the girls in Auburn that's what their whole point is. And there was a sign at the Auburn protest that was like, being drunk should not be a part of the college experience. Or being drunk. Being raped. And then kind of to end it off, I have just a few quotes that I want to read, because like I said, I want to be able to help others. I actually didn't think I was going to get anywhere with just posting multiple things on my Snapchat, or not my Snapchat, I'm so sorry, my Instagram. But I've had quite a few people reach out to me. I had one girl who I went to high school with. She reached out to me and she was like, hey, this stuff happened to me like a while ago, but reading your stuff is really comforting. And I was like, thank you. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help other people. I'm here to feel like that women have a voice. I know like the main used quote I feel like is like, speak up even if your voice shakes. I believe that. Even if deep down, you want to speak up and you want to say something, but you're worried and you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to tell your parents, I'm here. I want to help. I want to be here to help others. And that's kind of why I'm sharing my story, because I know I'm not the only one that has this story. I know I'm not. So I'm going to get into a few quotes and then I'm going to kind of end it off. Just because your case didn't go to court doesn't mean it didn't happen. I actually went to the police about mine, and it has been quite a battle to try to get anywhere. But just because it didn't go to court, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just because somebody assaulted you comfortably doesn't mean you didn't get assaulted. Kind of tying back into it can be your friend, or even if you gave in. So if you're like sitting there, sorry, I woke up and I'm like really sick. I don't know what's going on. Even if you're sitting there and your significant other or friend is like, hey, like, let's do this. And you're like, no, I really don't want to. Or no, I'm tired. And they just keep asking and asking and asking until you finally give in and say yes. That's rape. It was an enthusiastic yes. It was rape. So, yeah. This one was one that I really wanted to talk about. I hope you heal from the trauma that nobody ever apologized for. Because they don't apologize. Abusers think that they're in the right, and the rapists just go on about their day. They believe that they did nothing wrong. As a survivor, feeling heard and genuinely believed are some of the best things to receive. I actually just talked about this on my Snapchat, that everybody who has reached out and who has followed me on Instagram, so that way they can see this video. And to everyone who has supported me throughout this, my parents, my friends, everybody who has supported me. And I even had a friend last night. I was reading her my notes, and she was like, I'm really proud of you. And it's little things like that that make me feel like I am doing good, like I'm doing something right. And I know that doesn't just go for me. I know that goes for every person who is a victim of sexual assault and rape and harassment. I'll be quiet when we can say sexual assault and they can stop screaming liar. I told you guys that, how nobody believed me. And, kind of at this point, like, that's on them for not believing me. So, sexual trauma can change the way we think about ourselves, others, and the world. I do kind of want to talk about this for a second. I don't mean to go off track, but I do want to talk about it. After I was assaulted, there was a guy that was genuinely interested in me, and I was just gonna kind of see maybe like where it went, if, whatever. And so he came over and we were just hanging out. Like, we were not doing anything sexual. He knew what happened to me. He respected that. And when we went to sleep, he held me the same way that my abuser did. And that sent me spiraling into a panic attack. And I woke up and I was drenched in sweat and I was hyperventilating, and I told him to get out. I didn't want him there. And that affected me. That affected the way that how I receive a relationship. And even like about ourselves, there was a time period where I was like, maybe it is my fault. Like maybe it was me. And it's not. It's never you. It's never the victim. It isn't. And I feel like I can't get that point across enough, is that it wasn't you, that you didn't do anything wrong. Doesn't matter. Kind of ties back in. Even if you kiss them first, that doesn't give them permission to do other things. That doesn't give them any right whatsoever. Let's see. I saw this, and this is kind of where I want to end my rant. Not really my rant, my story. I saw this quote, and it stuck out to me, and it's going to make a few people mad. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because it's my story, it's my video, it's my account, and this is what I want to share. To those who took the side of my abuser, looked the other way, made excuses, and refused to stand up for me. I'm sorry you didn't have the courage to do the right thing. Thank you for teaching me that my power is enough and I don't need you to amplify my voice. I won't be quiet so you can be comfortable. That's all I have on my phone. And that, I know I didn't write that, and I know that that wasn't mine. But I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I will not be quiet just so you can be comfortable. I am going to never continue sharing my story. I'm actually in the middle of a book that I'm writing about it. And I'm hoping to find a publisher so I can get this published. And like I said, I have some things planned for Memphis. You know, I gotta get, you know, approved for everything that I have planned. But I do have things planned. And like I said, just in this fraternity, it has been 6 women. And I don't think that should sit comfortably with anybody. It shouldn't. And it's just not okay. And it's not right. And I'm not going to sit here and just keep letting them do it. Because that's just 6 women that I know of. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about, you know, ones that I don't know. I feel like there might be 7. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to get, I'm going to have to talk to some more people. But there are 6 women with 6 different men involved in that fraternity that have done it. And some have been sober. Some have been drunk. Women, meaning. And, you know, even though I was sexually assaulted by my abuser, there was another one who sexually harassed me, which I stated the definitions in the beginning, asking me very sexual questions when I was drunk, making me very uncomfortable, stating to me, it seems like every time we're alone, you're drunk. The fact that you have to state that and you know that, stop asking me if I want to have sex with you. It's not okay. And that guy did go on to assault another woman. So, and the things that he said to her, I don't even want to get into it because it's not my story. But sorry, that felt good. I'm glad that I said what I wanted to say. Kind of to end it, if anybody watches this video, I understand I'm going to get hate for it. I understand that I did that myself, putting myself out there at risk, sharing my own story with a fraternity who I'm 90% sure is going to see it. You know what? If you don't want to be talked about, maybe don't rape women. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But if anybody sees this who has been through something similar, or who knows someone who has been through something similar, please feel free to reach out. Reach out to your friends. Make sure they're doing okay. You know. But for the ones who are watching this and are like, that was me. You know, like that happened to me. I don't know how to feel about it. You know. I have a Linktree account in my bio. It has my email address in there. You're more than welcome to send me an email. You're more than welcome to send me a message. We can talk on the phone. We can text. Doesn't matter. I am here for you all the way. I'm here to support women all the way because it needs to be stopped. And kind of like I said at the beginning of the video, if nobody else is going to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. But if you made it this far in the video, I understand that it went a lot longer than I planned for it to. I just want to say thank you for everybody who is stuck by my side through this, who is helping me, you know, plan everything that I want to plan, and and just helping me in every way possible. And I appreciate it so much. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it from everybody. It doesn't matter. I really do thank you for sitting here and supporting me in ways that you know, I can't even imagine. But that's kind of it. Like I said, if anybody wants to talk to me, my messages are always open. There is one last thing I do want to talk about, the thing going on in Auburn. They had a fraternity. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the link. They had a fraternity, or multiple fraternities. I just know that there were 3 allegations that were sent in a week, and the school will not name the fraternity. So under my Linktree account, that's linked in my bio, this is it. You'll see it's this first one right here. When you click on it, it'll take you to the petition to sign to name that fraternity. Yeah. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would go help out my friends in Auburn to sign this petition to get the fraternity named. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you so much to everybody who watched the video, who has supported me. I do want to say thank you. So that's kind of it. Okay.